here at the Pretoria Botanical Gardens today for a nice fresh walk. We're gonna get this ascend up the steps, not descend. Descend means going down. We're going up. So up the stairs. I'm a bit unfit and out of breath, but anyway, we'll try our best. Here we go. Very beautiful winter's day in May in Pretoria. There's some sections of the garden and a bench to take a rest. We'll proceed. And there's a little bit of a here's a fish pond. Seems to be no fish in it, but there's some water plants. If you can see there in the road ahead is a Dassie, a rock Hyrax, running. So we are on some walking trails here at the Pretoria Botanical Garden. So I'm going up the hills, out of breathness. Oh, and you'll see all kinds of critters. It's a cloudy day today, which is unusual for Pretoria. And this is not a popular section of the trails. It's not so well maintained as some of the other parts. And well, there's a marker, and that animal on there is actually a Dassie or a rock Hyrax, which is this area. Loads and loads of them. Kind of succulents, not sure what. Alright. Strange day in Pretoria. It was sunny for a bit, now it's cloudy. Usually in May it's our winter time and it's blue skies. And there you see some more rock Hyrax. There's a marker, and there's a bit of information about elephants and Dassies. Let's see there in the road up ahead. In the road you'll see some Dassies there, small ones, baby ones, breeding season. Right, elephants and Dassies. A number of Dassies rock Hyrax make their home on the ridge that divides the garden in the northern and southern section. They're about the size of rabbits, but look rather like large plump guinea pigs. So there's some pictures of Dassies, how they look like, indigenous to this area, some Dassie facts, you can read that, and we'll proceed on our garden journey. We're in a section where the building up ahead is actually the office building where the Sunbee resides, South Africa National Botanical Institute. So this is their job to maintain. But so this is a wild section, or indigenous section, where there are just trails. It's not a garden. The garden section I'll show you a bit later, but we'll just continue on exploring this part. Okay, so we're on another trail here at the Botanical Gardens, and the sun is sticking out its head a bit, and so there you see some rocks, and there's a bench to sit on, take a rest, and to really absorb, take in this beautiful view. Well, it's a view of Silverton. I live actually 2 kilometers that way. Here, this is part of Silverton where I live. It's just a block of flats, and yeah. Alright, we'll proceed on our trail. Just on the trail, walking, taking in the beautiful scenery. I usually come here once a week. Monday, so this is Monday morning, so Mondays or Sunday afternoons or Sunday mornings, once a week at least I try to come here. I have a membership, and have my boots, hiking boots. And so yeah, this is what I do. Come for a walk in nature. Really beautiful. I don't know what this plant is, but it seems like a bit of a weed right now. So nice temperature. It's about 21 degrees, I would say. As we're nearing a trail split, so you can either go right on number 6 or left on number 7. We'll go on number 7. So leaves on the ground, leaves, trees are shedding their leaves. It's full winter, although in Europe they'll probably laugh at us, or my Russian students usually laugh at me when I say it's winter and it's cold. Well, it does get cold here at night. It gets, well, some nights can be 1 or 2 degrees, sometimes even 0. A couple of years ago we had -2. So it does get cold, and we don't have central heating. So at night, so it does get cold inside the house. I'm sure the people in Southern Europe will absolutely understand what I talk about. People in Portugal, Spain, Greece, Italy, you know, the winters are not as cold as in Russia or in Northern Europe, but they also don't have central heating in homes, so it does get uncomfortable. Right, so you see they built this trail out of rocks from the actual hilltop that they used to construct these steps. So again, I will be out of breath. I don't exercise nearly enough what I'm supposed to do, and and I don't have my selfie stick, so I have a bit of a shaky hand. So there you see another view of towards the northern side of Pretoria, and you can hear the traffic probably. And there you see probably some excrement of Dassies. And all right, we'll proceed on our little tour. Another bench and vantage point where you can have a rest. And oh, there's some tracks. There's been people here. Okay. All right, so onwards we go. So I've been shooting a lot of reels for Instagram, which is in a vertical position, and I decided I need to build my YouTube channel a bit, and shooting this in horizontal. So going up the hill, so these little areas, indentations, during the rainstorms, it makes little puddles there in the indents of the rock where animals can drink water from. Right now it's still not the rainy season, although 2 weeks ago in Pretoria we had huge rainstorms and thunderstorms. And we're nearing another vantage point. There you go. Number 8. Whew. Towards the northern side of Pretoria, there's some butterflies, rock formations. All right, onwards we go. Beautiful grasses, only get in Africa. Okay, so what they do is they tend to label some of the trees. So there's a label, Rus Leptodictia mountain carrier, indigenous to South Africa. So I even have one at home, Carrierboom. Alright, most of the names are Carrier is a Dutch name. Our ancestors are from Holland. Like Dassie is also a Dutch word, and meerkat, Dutch words. We actually label the animals. There's another. This is the rock ficus. So it literally grows into the rock. You'll see there how strong the root system is. So there it is. And there, continuing on our journey. I need to get fit. Some little wildflowers. We call them begrafenisblommetjies or funeral flowers, because they kind of grow next to the graves at the cemetery, and we call them funeral flowers. They grow wild. Okay, so now we're not ascending but descending, going down. So I have to mind my steps here so I don't get twist the ankle or something. Alright, so we'll just go down here a bit. So there you see some, I guess you can see some butterflies. If you can see it in shot, I can see it with my eyes. I'm not sure if you can see it on camera. Right, so the trails kind of wind up and down the hill. Now, not very green. Well, there's more green, I guess, than in Europe, but it's greenish, yellowish, orange colors. You see all the leaves that have been shed. Creates a nice carpet of leaves. And but yeah, this can get very beautiful in springtime and summer. And alright, so we can either go up or go straight or go down. Right, for the video we'll go straight. These kind of I guess it's a kind of moss or growth on the rocks, all kinds of things, even on the trees. I'm not sure what you call it exactly, but it's a growth on the rocks and on the tree trunks. There you see it. Look at this rock. Look at all the patterns there. Interesting. Apparently in South Africa it grows on the southern side. Right. So yeah, it does look like on the southern side. Right. Okay, here we go. Very beautiful here. And you see the partly cloudy, so the sun comes out and then it disappears again. All right, another vantage point overlooking the northern part of Pretoria. Heads towards the east. All right, and continuing on our trail, look at this interesting plant. I call it a ponytail. It looks like a donkey tail. You see, there's the branch. It's got some growth and green. And then full winter, they will shed the leaves, and they will be like just black stumps. And then as soon as the spring rain comes, the new leaves will come out again. So we're not in full winter yet. I think maybe still early winter, like in around June, July. That would be our coldest part of the winter. Right, so we'll take number 12 to the right. You can hear the birds. Really nice. So thank you for joining me on this walk. And I've shot a lot of Instagram reels of these walks. I've never done really a YouTube video, so it will probably be very authentic. I won't do a lot of editing, cut out anything really. It's not really a long walk. You can do it in 15-20 minutes. And so I'm walking quite fast. I mean, you can have a slower pace and just relax yourself. Stop at the vantage points, take a rest, breathe in nature. Right, so another bench for some kind of stopover, and that's towards the southwestern side of Pretoria. Right, so we'll just finish this little trail here, and you can see the leaves on the ground, really beautiful. Creates a beautiful kind of European foresty woodlands atmosphere. You might think you're in Europe, but you're actually in Pretoria in Africa. Okay, but then the African grass will give us away, and that's what you will see in Africa. Lots of different types of grass species really beautiful part, like a green, yellowish kind of grass. And there's a typical acacia tree, thorn tree, that you find in Africa. Okay, there's a bit of more grass. There's a trail going there, and some of the duikers. Duiker is a kind of small antelope, mini antelope. They might use these little footpaths. We're not supposed to deviate from the main walking route, but the duikers, they will have their own little paths that they follow and where they hide from the people. Right, so we've come to the end of the hiking trail. You can continue over the main road there. There's another beautiful section, but for this video I think you got a good idea. The nature scenery doesn't change much, the growth doesn't change much, so it's going to be just this for our walk. I'll show you the grassland section soon, but look at these little wildflowers, aren't they pretty? Okay, and there's a little butterfly, even in winter. That's how beautiful Africa can be. Like in Europe it snows and everything is covered with snow. Everything hibernates. In Africa it's just cooler weather. And my students hate when I use the word cold, because cold is what they experience in Russia. Minus 20, minus 30, minus 40, minus 50. So when I say it's 15 and it's cold, they kind of can't contain their laughter. So yeah, like you can see a lot of ant holes and things there in the ground. So there's another marker. And so this is the grassland section, which is my favorite. So the trails are kind of woodlands, foresty type. I prefer open spaces. So I'll show you now a little bit later in the video. Here's the grassland section. Alright, this is one of the main roads for the vehicles, service vehicles. So there's a speed bump. And I will just step over it. And there to my left, you can see some of the grassland section. And so here's the area where I've often found the duikers, the little antelopes I spoke about earlier. But they, you have to be quick on the draw to catch them. They're quite fast. Obviously they're scared of humans, and sometimes I see a large amount of animals, but they're very skittish, understandably so. And but yeah, in the middle of Pretoria, we have this beautiful kind of nature park, botanical gardens, and where you can just enjoy yourself. All right, so from good to bad, just some excrement. So this could be Dassies, but I'm not sure. It could be duiker poo as well. Right, so just to show you the droppings, so that you can, Africa, you can read the tracks. So there's some tracks there, and there's some tracks, and there's some droppings, and you can see where the animals are or have been. And of course lots of bird species. And so I'm walking back now to Milk Plum Cafe, where my wife is. So that's the tame section of the garden, and I'll walk back there now. It will take me probably 15 minutes. She's doing some bullet journaling. I've also taken up some bullet journaling, and just to journal away your experiences. And my wife has her own business where she teaches women to journal, art journal, scrapbook, Bible journaling, all kinds of things like that. I, on the other hand, am an online English teacher. So there's the stop street, African tree, and we'll go left. So, of course, you can watch the full video, or you can fast forward. So I teach online. I have done on Skying, a Russian platform, I've done about 8,200 lessons thus far over the last 7 years. I do it full time, and work from home, my own little office, and that is my occupation, as they say. And before that, I used to be an English teacher as well, but I did face-to-face teaching, classroom teaching, basically all over the world, in China, Taiwan, Sudan, Oman, Saudi Arabia. Even spent 2 months in Iraq on an oil field, teaching Iraqi engineers, managing a project there. So, you know, I studied law, but didn't enjoy the legal field or industry. Didn't really suit my personality, and I was kind of forced to, well, together with affirmative action and black economic empowerment in South Africa, you know, we didn't have a lot of options. So I started traveling and teaching English as a foreign language, and that's what I've been doing for the last quarter century almost. I'm 52 now, and not sure what will be in the future, but I really enjoy the teaching with my students. And well, I'm trying to also to obviously make content for them, build the YouTube channels, build Instagram channels, all kinds of things, hopefully one day to generate a passive income. And yeah, we are kind of forced in a certain way as white South Africans to follow the entrepreneurial route. Last Monday I was here, and the Department of Fisheries and Forestry was having an annual party here. I saw one white person among hundreds of people. So, you know, white people have fled kind of South Africa. And it's just before I say that, speak more about that, I just want to show you the grasslands. So the sun have hid himself again, but which is sad, because I think it really looks nice when it's sunny. But yeah, South Africans have left due to affirmative action, BEE policies, and those of us who are left have basically an entrepreneurial route to follow or go overseas. Alright, so there's a little car. I don't know what he's doing here. Is it a sort of, oh, there's a security guy. He's waving. Alright, so now we're entering, as I call it, the tamed section of the garden. But before we do that, there's a little sign post, information board with information about the duiker. I spoke about this little antelope earlier on in the video. The duiker gets its name from Afrikaans, which means to dive, and refers to the animal's habit of ducking away into bushes when danger threatens. Oh, right there you see the origins of this. I've been here probably 35 times in the last 9 months. I've seen them twice. So I was lucky even to shoot a video a little bit of one running across the path in front of me. So, but they're skittish, understandably so. They're the size of a dog, a medium-sized dog, so they're very small. Right, so now we're entering the tame section of the garden. So there's the office building, and then we're going into the garden. All right, so there's some signs and trees. We're just going for a walk. Hello. That's an interesting tree there. Okay, they got the sprinklers on, so I can't get too close, but you can see that tree. It's fascinating, isn't it? Like, I think it might be a kind of ficus tree as well. I'm not almost 100% sure. Really beautiful. So this garden was established, I think, in 1947, as in the old regime of South Africa. It was yeah, it's still well maintained, I would say, in general, but as I said in earlier Instagram videos, it's also now unfortunately being used as a venue for big rock parties and student concerts and I don't know, all kinds of carnivals and festivals, and so I'm not always sure. Well, I do have a degree in development studies, and my logic tells me that this is not good for the animal life, at least, and the bird species here. But the great Kwan usually weighs heavier than environmental protection, so I'm sure they also have to how can we say, get people to fund and to gather or collect money for all their projects. I don't know how much they get, how much subsidy they get from government, but they look at there on this. There's little Dassies there on the chairs, and they're running. Hello, guys. Right, there's a big road right adjacent to the garden on that side, so you can hear the traffic. And but this is the kind of tame section of the garden. So there's some lawns where people can come and have picnics and enjoy themselves and really have fun. And all kinds of there are two coffee shops. Well, there's one coffee shop, Milk Plum Cafe, and then there's a venue, another venue where they have big events. But for most of it, it's just lawn space, lots of trees. There's an aloe. Let's see the aloe flowers. Okay. And some interesting thing for my Russian students. I'll read this quickly. This is something Russian. So this tree was planted by the Russian ambassador. Right, let me read it here. This Podocarpus falcatus tree was planted on 14 December 2015 by His Honorable Excellency Mr. Mikhail L. Petrakov, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Russian Federation, to the Republic of South Africa to commemorate the 70th anniversary of the victory over Nazism in a great patriotic war, 1941-1945. So, yeah, actually it happened recently. Today's 17 May. Was it 18 May? Yeah. But on the 9th of May, the Russians celebrate Victory Day, as opposed to in Europe, they do it on the 8th of May. But I know every year for the last 7 years, students have a day off. It's Victory Day. They've got lots of parades in Moscow and everywhere else, except for this year. Due to the drone attacks, it was cancelled, and thus it did not take place. But just a little bit of connection between Russia and South Africa. Of course, South Africa is one of the BRICS countries, founding members of BRICS. So it's Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. And here's one of the features as you enter the garden. So yeah, let me show you the entrance. There it is. All right, and then as you enter, you find this giant insect here on the tree. Of course, it's not a real one, but yeah, I'll zoom out a little bit so you can get an idea. But this is a beautiful lawn section of the garden as you enter. And so this is where most families will probably sit in this area, this lawn area here on Sundays and Saturdays, on days off, and enjoy themselves, relaxing in beautiful nature. So this is a Korea tree. Actually, I spoke about this tree earlier on. And there you can sit underneath the Korea tree. There's some how it looks. Right, this little building there where they have some paintings on the wall. And right, so we are just going onto the main path now. So I'm walking towards my wife. She's sitting at Milk Plum Cafe doing Bible journaling, and I'm just gonna follow this route, and this is where we'll conclude the video. So of course there's a lot more to see in the garden. I took you through some different sections. I usually walking, but there's a waterfall up here. I don't have time to go and have a look at that today, but yeah, we'll just see. Here is a bit of a walkway, and there is a playground for kids, adventure playground. And here, this building belongs to Milk Plum, so this is also a venue where people can rent some space for all kinds of events. And there's the playground again. It's Monday, so a lot of maintenance is taking place, watering the garden. There's not a lot of people here today. Great. And there's a signboard. It says Milk Plum Cafe. Right, and then my wife is sitting there waiting for me. I told her I'll be gone for about 30-40 minutes, and I kept my promise. So thanks for joining me on this walk, and see you next time. Have a great day. There's Milk Plum Cafe.